Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to Korean Atlanta Mentorship. And so in this video, we're just going to do another Velocity Banking review. But before we get started, I just want to quickly comment about the Velocity Banking poker face. Now, I made a video, I think it was a couple of days ago, talking about how this YouTube channel audience has it, and then all of you started coming out of the woodwork. Look at this, all these people. It's like, yeah, I got the poker face. I got the poker face. And so if you don't know what the poker face is, basically it's when I explain velocity banking to a group of people, and then they completely understand the concept, and then they show absolutely no emotion. And I've talked to ChatGPT about this, and it's like, listen, these are probably the reasons why they got the poker face, meaning they show absolutely no emotion, but deep down inside they're thinking a billion things. You ever have people like that in your life? I have people do that to all the time, or they do that to me all the time, especially when I present velocity banking. But let's ask ChatGPT, what is velocity banking poker face?
The poker face reaction in the context of velocity banking likely refers to the expression people have when they're introduced to the concept and its potential to pay off debt quickly and efficiently. It's a moment of disbelief or quiet realization as they process how dramatically it could have impacted their finances if they had known about it sooner. You've mentioned before that you think this reaction happens because people are shocked when they realize they could have paid off debt quickly in the past. This quiet, stunned demeanor is their way of grappling with the unexpected power and simplicity of the strategy. Does this come up often in your presentations or interactions?
Yes, it does. But I find it strange because if somebody presented to me, for example, an extremely easy way to lose weight without any effort, I would beg the person presenting to teach me it and be all over it. Yet it seems like most people are not like that. Am I crazy for thinking that? I'm not crazy at all. Well, that's good to know. So let's go ahead and read the answer once it's done.
You're not crazy at all. Your reaction is a reflection of how you value solutions that promise transformative results. What you're noticing in others often comes down to skepticism, fear of change, or disbelief that something so impactful could also be accessible. When people are introduced to concepts like velocity banking, they may initially resist it for several reasons. 1. Skepticism of simplicity. People are conditioned to believe that significant results require significant effort. An easy solution can seem too good to be true, triggering doubts rather than excitement. 2. Fear of the unknown. Even when the solution makes sense, it challenges the comfort zone they've built around managing money. The idea of rethinking their financial habits can feel intimidating. 3. Cognitive overload. When presented with a powerful concept, some people freeze because it feels overwhelming. They need time to process and accept that it's real and actionable. 4. Emotional baggage. Many carry guilt or regret about past financial decisions. Hearing about a strategy like velocity banking might initially trigger shame, making them reluctant to dive in enthusiastically. In contrast, your analogy about weight loss reflects an active, solution-oriented mindset that not everyone shares. For many, there's a mental gap between recognizing a solution and acting on it. In your presentations, it might help to directly address this dynamic. For example, say, I know some of you might be feeling skeptical or even a bit overwhelmed right now, thinking, this sounds too good to be true. That's a normal reaction. Let's break it down together, and I'll show you step by step why it works and how it can work for you. This opens the door for engagement while validating their emotional reaction. What do you think? Would something like that help bridge the gap?
Okay, so let me just ask ChatGPT one more thing, but I think the we're on to something about triggering shame, right? And that's the whole point of this video is that a lot of people get ashamed that they didn't know something like this, even though they were set up to fail from the beginning, right? It's kind of weird how that works. Like, hey, you were set up to fail. Yeah, but I'm ashamed that I didn't know this. It's kind of weird. So I'm just going to ask ChatGPT, can you expand on how shame plays a role in all of this, right? Let's see what happens. Ooh, this is, I don't know for you if this is like therapy. You know what I mean? Like, oh man, we're getting to the crux or the center of it. But there is a lot of, you think like just doing Excel spreadsheet like this is just like, oh, it's just Excel simple math, but then there's so much more to it than just a simple spreadsheet because money carries so much weight and emotion, right? So all of this is carrying a lot of weight and emotion when in reality it's just kind of math, third grade math. But let's go ahead and play the answer.
Shame can play a significant, often unspoken role in how people react to powerful solutions like velocity banking. Here's how it ties in. 1. Regret about past decisions. Many people carry regret over financial missteps, whether it's taking on too much debt, overspending, or missing opportunities to save or invest wisely. Learning about velocity banking can amplify those regrets because it highlights how they could have managed their money differently. This regret can manifest as a defense mechanism, where people avoid engaging deeply with the concept to protect themselves from the pain of what could have been. 2. Fear of being judged. Money is a deeply personal and often taboo subject. When you present a strategy like velocity banking, some people might fear that admitting interest or asking questions exposes their lack of financial literacy or their struggles with debt. They don't want to feel less than in front of others or even themselves. 3. Perceived personal failure. Debt is often internalized as a moral failing, even though it's a systemic issue many people face. The idea that they could have paid off debt quickly with the right strategy might make them feel foolish for not knowing sooner, even though it's not their fault. Shame from this sense of personal failure can paralyze people into inaction instead of motivating them to engage with the solution. #4. Overwhelming complexity. Shame can also come from feeling overwhelmed by new information. If someone feels they should already know this, they may react with a poker face rather than engaging, as a way to mask their discomfort. Addressing shame in your presentations. To help people move past shame, you can create a safe, judgment-free environment. Here's how. Normalize financial struggles. Open by saying, most of us weren't taught how to manage money in school, and debt is something almost everyone faces. The good news is, no matter where you're starting from, there's a path forward. Highlight it's not their fault. Reassure them with something like, it's not about what you didn't know in the past, it's about what you can do now that you know this. Use examples of others who were in similar situations and how they overcame them with velocity banking. This can help people see themselves in those stories and feel less isolated. Say something like, if this feels overwhelming, you're not alone. Feel free to ask anything. There are no bad questions when it comes to your financial freedom. By addressing shame head-on with empathy and understanding, you create an environment where people feel safe to engage, learn, and eventually take action. Does this approach resonate with you?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And that's what we're going to do. And that's why we always repeat the basics over and over again. Like, there's no shame in not having known this because we were all set up to fail, including me, right? That's why I used to make $20,000 a year, and now I make a little bit more than that. Okay, well, let's go ahead and actually demonstrate the strategy. So you might recognize this because this is the last spreadsheet that I did. So we're going to do it one more time, right? So here we have a $350,000 income. 13,000 a year income after tax, that'll be 17,500, and then expenses is about 14,000, and we have 3,500 left over in savings, and we have a lot of debt: 10 credit cards, a $50,000 auto loan, a $300,000 student loan. And you might be thinking, $300,000 student loan? Yep, because we're a doctor. And not only are a doctor, we're probably a specialist, right? So what are we trying to do? We're trying to pay off all this debt in order to increase our cash flow, because that's what velocity banking is. All it is a debt payoff strategy using a line of credit as your main operating account. And here's the moral of the story. Don't be ashamed that you didn't know any of this, okay? The system set you up to fail. And what is velocity banking? Well, if you want to deconstruct it, it literally is throwing all of your money at debt with the help of a line of credit. So what's a line of credit? All it is a financial tool where you could borrow money, pay it back, and then use it over and over again. So I recently made a video, uploaded about 10 minutes ago, of me having $547,000, or a little bit more than that, in lines of credit. $547,000. And so if you have a credit card, that's a line of credit. If you have a home equity line of credit, that's a line of credit. I got oodles and oodles, $547,000 in lines of credit. I got a ton of it. You take a look at this HELOC, right? This HELOC has $280,000 in limits, right? Home equity line of credit. You basically provide your home equity as collateral, and the bank says, bam, here's a credit card like type financial instrument, and you can borrow all the money that you want. And again, that's not true of all banks, because one bank where I had a HELOC said I could only withdraw $10,000 a day, but this bank's like, hey, you draw as much as you want, withdraw. And I'm like, cool. So literally, I could click a button on a bank's website, and then I could borrow that money in my checking account, no questions asked, when I have access to the tool. It's a home equity line of credit. So let me go back here. So we're going to have access to it, or assume that we have access to it. And in this example, we're going to have access to a $150,000 home equity line of credit. Okay. Now, when we make this income, and we might have a decent house, and we bought at the right time, $500,000 mortgage, it's definitely possible that we could get off a $150,000 home equity line of credit. Now, here's the most important part. Okay. Banks don't lend money to people who need it. So if you're like, I'm in this situation right now, let me go ahead and get a line of credit, 99.99999% you're going to get rejected, because the bank is like, whoa, we don't want to lend to you. You're not going to pay us back because you need money, because they understand that people who need money are high risk clients. So it's a little bit different from what you're taught to believe, because bank marketing is like, we're here for you, we're here for the community. And then when you actually apply, they just reject you right off the gate, especially if you need money. Okay, so be aware of that. And I talk about this in other videos, but we'll assume we have access to this, even though if you apply for this right now, you're not going to get it. Okay, so we're going to assume same income, and the savings we assume is zero, because that's really what velocity banking is. We're throwing all of our money into debt, and we're going to have something called cash flow, right? So let's go ahead and copy and paste these expenses. And cash flow is income minus expenses. And you might be thinking, what's the difference? We have $3,500 in savings here and $3,500 in cash flow, but we're going to move some debt into the line of credit to maximize this number, right? That's the last step. So if you want to know the cheat code, right? High interest rate credit cards and short-term loans usually go in here. So we have 10 credit cards, and that's $142,000 of debt and 992, almost $1 million of debt. And so some people might be freaking out with this. Oh my goodness, I'm a doctor making $350,000 a year. Why do I feel poor? And the reason why you feel poor is because you were taught by society that you need 3 to 6 months of savings, kind of like Mr. Dave Ramsey teaches you right here in the 7 baby steps, right? Save $1,000 in your beginning emergency fund, and notice how he calls you a beginner for saving $1,000. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that, and we're gonna move this debt. So, well, how much is that? $142,000. So let's do this. This is kind of like a balance transfer on a credit card, but literally we're just going to the bank's website, click a button, say I want 442,000 in my checking account. It goes to your checking account, and then you pay all these off, and guess what happens? These payments increase. You go to 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Oh my goodness! Now we went from 3,500 to about 8 grand in cash flow. Isn't that insane? Okay, so now let's go ahead and calculate the next month's balance. So it's based on the previous month's balance plus the previous month's interest minus our cash flow, so 7995.48, right? 7995.48. And you know what? Let me go ahead and pause this, because I think I smell my dinner being done. So I'll be right back, but you won't even notice. Give me one moment. All right, folks, just ate a little bit and now I'm back because I'm so hungry and I haven't eaten like 2 days, or it feels like you haven't, but I have more stories on that once I do my next exclusive live stream for YouTube members, 99 cents only. Anyways, all right, so let's continue with this. How do we get the interest based on the average daily balance? Multiply it by the interest rate, which is 0.08, and then you divide by 12. Ooh, excuse me, because the interest rate's only annual, always annual. Yeah, they calculate monthly. Gets very confusing when you don't understand the nuances that way. And then the final step, okay? So month zero, you put your entire paycheck in, you take your expenses out, you accrue some interest, and then you just rinse and repeat over and over again. Look how easy that is. Oh my goodness. And I just gotta copy and paste, and then by month 19, look at that. That was been paid off. Oh my goodness, so easy, right? So we paid off in 19 months 142K without even thinking about it, right? And if we need any additional money or emergency funds beyond our cash flow, we just get it from the line of credit. It's the available limit minus our balance is our emergency savings fund, right? That's all it is, okay? All right, so we did that. And then now what we need to do is figure out how the loans work, right? So we got 3 loans, auto, student, mortgage, and luckily we got a loan calculator to help us figure out all this. So give me one moment to open that one up. Here we go. We got the loan calculator up and running. And so if I go here, all you gotta do, if you have this, is you just have to have these 3 factors: the original balance, interest rate, loan term. It will auto spit in payment amount, and it will auto spit the current balance if you put in a month. So we were at month 19, right? 19. So we just put in 19, 19, 19, right? And then you see right here that we have this thing called the cash flow index. If you don't know what it is, think of it as a ranking system, and I will probably go over that in the next exclusive live stream. Oh no, not this one. Probably the chunking versus the extra payments whole debacle in a live stream. But let's just go ahead and move this to the line of credit, because this is kind of like a ranking system, and the lower the number, that's the one we want to pay off first so that we can get more cash flow immediately. So let me move, and what loan is this? This is the auto loan for $50,000, this 36 grand into the line of credit. And so we moved this 36 grand into the line of credit. So let's go ahead and take a look here. All I gotta do is just add 36010.31, right? And then what happens when we move that 36 grand? Well, guess what? This is the auto loan, so we get extra almost $1,000 back into our cash flow. So this is now zero. And if we take a look up here, holy Maloney, baloney, balls, this is amazing. Now we're at $9,000 of cash flow. So it's almost an extra $1,000. So let me go ahead and copy and paste that. So we see right here, so instead of minus 7,995, it's minus 8985.54, right? And then let's go ahead and copy and paste that. And it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then in 4 months, this has been paid off. So in 23 months, this is going to be, how much is that? 142 plus 50, so that's 192K, okay? And then now we just got to tackle on student loan. So if we go into the loan right here, and at 23 months right here, so let's go to 23 months, so this is now 0, 23, 23, and you could see this cash flow index right here. We have this debt, and ooh, the whole idea is how much bang do we get for a buck for paying off the debt. And so if you take a look here, would you pay $256,000 to get $3,400 in your cash flow, or $479,000 to get $2,100 in your cash flow? Obviously, you want to do this one, okay? You want to do this one because, okay, because you get more cash flow and you get pay off less of the balance, right? So realistically, if we have a cash flow index above 50, I would do the chunking method. Whereas below 50, I'm okay putting in the line of credit. Now, again, it also depends still on the interest rate. So if the interest rate is definitely higher, I probably would move it into the line of credit. But if you have a lower one, then chunking method will probably do. But I'm lazy for now, so let's just move it into the line of credit. And I'm going to do this. Now, here's the thing, right? This high cash flow index, you don't want to move it into the line of credit. So some people in the velocity banking space are like, you always got to replace your mortgage to line of credit because line of credit bad, or I'm sorry, line of credit good and mortgage bad, right? You don't want to think like that. It's how much cash flow can we get for paying off a debt? And if we can get a lot of cash flow, whether it's a credit card, line of credit, or mortgage, then that's the one we want to pay off first, which is why debt payoff order is incredibly important, right? Incredibly important. So let's go ahead and move this into the line of credit, and I'm gonna paste values only. And actually, I want to be lazy. Plus F25, right? That's new cash flow. Is it plus? No, it's minus. My bad. Minus. No, it's plus F25. There we go. And so now when we paid that one off, okay, so guess what? We get an extra $3,000 into our cash flow. And so our now cash flow is about 1,200. Whoa, that was really easy. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. And I'm going to go ahead and copy this value. And now this is our cash flow, which is 12391.98. And then all we got to do is copy and paste. And then let's just copy and paste this, right? And see how long it takes for us to pay it off. Okay, and we see that in month 46, holy maloney, baloney, ballsy, hit him in the kisser. I don't know if you know where that's from. 46 months, it is paid off. Okay, so 46 months, whoopsie, 46 months to pay off 392K. All right. So next one is the mortgage. Okay, so let's just take a look at this mortgage right here. We type in 46 months. Okay, and let's just do a quick check. Okay, so after 46 months, right? After 46 months, how much of the principal or loan balance did we actually pay? So all this is just 500,000, which is the original balance, minus 458, which is the current balance. If you take a look here, we already paid $55,000 of interest, so 42K principal paid off in 46 months. Now, what if we move 42,000 of the principal into the line of credit? How long would it take to pay off? So let's just kind of do this. So 42,000 right here, and it's going to be really easy. I just add 42,000 plus 42,000, right? And then, whoa, how long did it take to pay off? 1, 2, 3 months? That's insane. Let's try it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, one. Oh wow, like I'm really am blown away. 3. So about 3 months, 3 months, 4 months. So if we take a look here, we literally paid off 42 months of principal in 3 months, right? When we did it with the line of credit way. That was crazy. Whoa, that's insane. I'm like blown away. So if we did it the bank's way, it would have taken us 46 months and we paid $55,000 of interest in the first 46 months, right? And so one of the reasons why it's kind of hard to calculate the payoff time is because not only are you chunking down the principal, but you're also making the monthly payment. Okay, so that kind of factors in as well. But overall, you're just simply overpaying the mortgage with the line of credit, which is, people kind of overhype this. But one of the most important things that we have to understand is that we do this last. We always pay the mortgage last, unless there's some sort of exception I'm not aware of when it comes to doing this velocity banking stuff because of that high cash flow index. Okay, so let me go ahead and open up the velocity banking spreadsheet. So give me one moment. Take a look at that, right? So all you got to do is fill in the information. Original balance, current balance, payment amount. Is this right? 2108.02. Let me just quickly check. Yep. And so now you just fill it in, and your monthly income, your living expenses, how much you want to move into the line of credit, your interest rate, and whoa, paid off in 2.8 years. That's amazing. That is so amazing. Oh my goodness. Look at how much interest I save. Wow. Wow. Like, folks, I've been doing these YouTube videos for about a year, and I still get amazed. Like, is this even real? In fact, I paid my mortgage off in less than 3 years. And to be honest, it doesn't even feel real to me just because Have you ever heard that saying, like, if a tree falls down and nobody's there to hear it, did it really fall down? That's how I kind of feel like with my mortgage when I paid it off in 3 years. Like when I tell other people, I just kind of get these blank stares because according to ChatGPT, I literally am 1% or under 1% of all the mortgage payers in at least in this country, I think. So nobody's done what I've done. So every time I look at this, like, whoa, this is amazing. Now, here's the thing we don't want to do, okay? We don't want to move the whole thing into a line of credit because we pay so much more interest, 58 grand. Why would we want to do that when we could be paying 21 grand? Now, here's the real crazy thing. If you do a 30% line of credit like a credit card, you don't really pay that much interest, okay? Compared to a first lien home equity line of credit, which we'll show you here, 58 grand, right? So crazy how that works, okay? So let me go back to what I was doing. So this chunking is, oh, so let me just do 20 grand. 20 grand, yeah. So just this chunking thing, right, is just how much are you moving into the line of credit. And it doesn't have to be a big amount. You can do 18,000. Just similar to your paycheck should be fine. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So 2.8 years. So let me just kind of go back here and then go here and then right, like 2.8 year. So this is like 46 divided by 12 plus 2.8. Yeah. And then this is going to be 6.63 years debt free. Whoopsie, 6.63 years, 3 years debt free. Whoa, that's awesome, right? That's the 6.63 years. I can't even believe it. What minute mark are we? We're in the 26-minute mark. Man, that was quick. And I spent most of the time just playing ChatGPT voiceovers. You see how quick that was? Oh my goodness. And now this is zero. And now our cash flow is literally 14 grand a month. And it's like, what do we do now? Well, I'll tell you what you'll do when you're debt free and you're making some decent money like I am. I don't know if you take a look at this. It's kind of similar, isn't it? But you just kind of like, all right, time to make YouTube videos and share the so-called financial gospel, right? Some people are like, why do I do this? Is because really I'm sick and tired of like not. You ever like, all right, so this is kind of strange, but you ever deal with people who are like so busy for you and then they always tell you that they're struggling? Well, when you're successful in life, you're not busy for anybody. So that's why I just make these YouTube videos. All right. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay. Well, that's it, everybody. This is Korean Atlanta Mentorship. So if you haven't noticed, I'm kind of switching things up with my computer setup. Well, things are a little bit different, but they're mostly the same, anyways. All right. Well, that's it for today. Watch out because I think in the end of this week, we will have a live stream, although I haven't decided the date and the time yet. But exclusive only for YouTube channel members, 99 cents. You know the whole drill. And then join if you want to. We're growing. We're almost at 30. I think we're like 37 YouTube channel members right now. We're going to be at 40 soon. I know it. All right. All right. Have a great day, everybody. It's Korean Atlanta Mentorship.